Welcome back to ReZero Anime Review, episode number 33. This one discussing the 45th episode of the anime, the beginning of Sanctuary and the beginning of the end. This one adapts more from book 4. Yes, looks like it still adapts from book chapters 2 and 5. Most of this episode, like in the case of the last couple episodes, is mostly a flashback episode. The president said simply put, now the episode starts quite interestingly with this. Well, I heard this after from a side story. We see a young Roswell. No, not the present-day Roswell. This is the past version of Roswell from 400 years ago. He is coughing. He thinks he has a disease. And I think this is supposed to be his bedroom. And then there's Echidna. Just standing there. This is also, I should point out something. This, I think, was really weird for White Fox to do. I'm not sure why in the world they do this. It's like whenever they show a kid in a flashback, I mean, we know what she looks like. Viewers have seen what this woman looks like. We've seen her full face. Why in the world in the flashback we can't see her full face? It's like the part we see is basically her mouth. Like, apparently we can't see her eyes. Yes, this is something that really bothers me. I mean, did their face look different 400 years prior to the series? As far as I can tell, no. There's nothing to mention online, if in fact that her appearance was different. But no, we have to show half the frickin' face for some reason. And she reveals, oh yeah, you don't have magical disease. So she walks up to him, and of course he blushes because I think he's instantly he's fallen in love with her. And then she proceeds to make out with him, and you have the typical thing we see in the anime. We see two people making out, and there's saliva comes afterwards. Yes, I've seen this in a lot of other anime. Like, this is what some people call a sort of like a French kiss in a way. That's what this is. This is a French kiss in an anime. That's what involves the saliva. And of course, he's spitting out some stuff, and she has no problem with him doing this right in front of her. And then he apparently becomes her student. Yes, when the heck this happened? No idea. And we cut briefly to present day where basically it's revealed that Subaru's recapping the story and still asking for Roswell to surrender. And of course we continue. Where we see that he is interacting more with Beatrice. Now we did see briefly the young Roswell in last week's episode. Actually, about 2 episodes back. We saw this briefly when they was doing the outside stuff. We have Reizu meeting Roswell for the first time. This is presumably not long after that in the flashback. So I would say the first flashback shown here, this is before Reizu's memory begins, and the rest of the stuff is after that memory. That's what I can tell anyways. So we see that he's talking to Beatrice. Yes, Beatrice. Because it was revealed at the end of episode... This is the 13th episode season. I think it was episode 38, I believe it was. Yeah, 38. It was in episode 38 that Echidna was responsible for the birth. Actually, it was episode 37. That she was responsible for Beatrice's birth. Yeah, which was revealed in the last time they showed flashback that technically she's Beatrice's mother. So basically, Echidna has had one child, and Roswell is not the parent. Nope, despite the fact he's in love with this woman. He does talk about it toward the end of the episode. Yep, and basically you have him, Beatrice, and Reizu have a conversation. They chat for a while, and then Kenneth shows up. He refers to her as teacher. I'm not really sure exactly when in the world this particular relationship happened. I don't think the light novels bothered to explain this, of when in the world he's ever become his student. My guess, presumably just after she saved his life by kissing him with a French kiss. Though I wouldn't be surprised somehow people in Japan probably know what a French kiss is. They probably done it themselves. I am not going to confirm this at all because I am not from Japan. Well, I've never been to Japan, so I'm not sure how they do things exactly over there. So, of course, this is basically a fictional world, not in Bandai, Japan. So they chat for a while. And the kidnap is, and we see later on, we see Roswell, Beatrice, and Reizu outside. Rizu wants to learn to read, and then apparently Beatrice gets sort of a summoning from Echidna. Like, my guess is, because this is my theory, I think that she and Roswell have a telepathic connection to Echidna. That's probably how they know that they're being summoned. Oh yeah, and by the way, Beatrice does this thing of "I suppose" and like almost every sentence that she says. And then we see this mysterious guy. This guy is well, according to Roswell, he is the devil of Marchinia. I'm not sure exactly where his witchpower comes from. Yes, this guy's name is Hector. Who the heck this guy is and why the heck this guy is not present day is unclear. Yeah, but this guy is definitely from the light novels, so the anime did not make up this guy. He is from the light novels. I barely remember him. So, we have Roswell trying to take him on. Of course, before this battle, Roswell talks to Echidna. Of course, Beatrice is off doing something. Yeah, and we have to call her back, and they have to put the barrier up. And, of course, Roswell points out to Echidna that if she doesn't do this, Beatrice would be, let's just say, she would never forgive either you or I. And the way he put it, basically, for Echidna, that makes perfect sense. Your advice is very good. Call her back. And basically, Rizu volunteers herself to become the barrier, become the core for the barrier. The crystal we see in present day, where we see Hector basically beating the crap out of Roz, basically nearly crushing the man's bones and splatting his organs. Like, you see some blood, but thank God you don't see what's going on inside of his body, because that would be disgusting. And then we see Echidna looks like she wants to basically take him on. And then, of course, Rizu herself is taken by Beatrice to the facility that we see in present day, where she chats to Beatrice for a while, and then she sort of merges with the thing to become the core. The one thing I tell to point out, though, is that when we see Rizu in present day, she is completely naked. I was kind of thinking, did she say to strip naked before she went in that crystal? Yeah, I think this might be a partial hiccup either on the anime part, probably because they want to show a 12-year-old girl naked. Well, the 12-year-old girl, well, basically a woman who's has parents of a 12-year-old girl being stripping naked in an anime. That's probably my personal guess. They probably did not want to show that. That's probably the reason why she's fully clothed, despite the fact we see her in present day, and she's naked. Yeah, in present day she's naked. And yet, here in the past, she's going to Crystal fully clothed. Now, I don't know why Fox does on purpose, because they want to be, let's say, showing out, let's say, child porn by seeing a 12-year-old naked. So, they probably want to be accused of that, so they have her keep her outfit on. Well, there's a way you can get around it. You could have, basically, her naughty bits get censored in sort of like a shadow. Well, those are the bright light thing like To Love Ru did, where every time we see have to have a sensor, we have to have a freaking blinding light. Like, just have a shadow over it. Like, you can do that? Nope, we have to have her go into the damn crystal with her clothes on. Despite the fact in present day, she's completely naked. She's not wearing anything. So, this is where the flashback part ends. And, of course, Roswell has this great argument, like with Roswell, with Subaru, where he mentions that, well, Echidna is the only woman. Well, he didn't mention. Well, he mentioned Echidna by name. Yeah, he's only one woman his whole life, Echidna. Which, yeah, falling in love with Echidna basically is definitely a good idea, because Echidna is hot. Like, damn, Roswell, you are one lucky guy to get Echidna. Yep. Now, it's unknown if these two ever slept together. Yeah, their relationship is not fully developed over the course of the series. It's mentioned he's been in love with her, and at some point became teacher and student. But in the case of anything romantic between the two of them, aside from the kiss when they first met, nothing is really fully developed about that part. He does mention he bested his family to become the head of the family, which, okay, that's interesting. And, well, despite the fact that, well, we actually have this, well, reveal the whole thing about Otto basically becoming the unknown piece. And, of course, Garfield being changed. Well, he's not changed that much, changing without changing him anyways. It's going to Subaru. And basically, him and Roswell got the best dialogue the whole episode. And Roswell basically stands his ground. He does not change. He says he has the advantage. After basically, well, Subaru leaves, basically. He leaves basically with his head held high. That he has sort of scored sort of a victory per se. But the match is now over between the two of them. And reveals that he countered his past. Now, they don't. Of course, Subaru does not mention to. Well, Subaru probably doesn't know this yet, but Emilia has completed the first trial of the 3 sets of trials he has to complete in order to liberate the sanctuary. She completed the first one. Yep. And, well, the episode ends with Emilia waking up, with Emilia getting up and probably moving on to the next trial. Overall, great episode. I would say definitely the best part of this episode is the interactions between Roswell and Subaru. The dialogue of this episode is really, really good. I would say the only weak point in this episode is Hector himself. Barely anything is explained about. He's called the devil of whatever town he's in charge of. I'm like, okay. First of which, where the heck did this guy even come from? He just randomly shows up. Yeah, they barely explain him in the episode. Like, unless you read light novels, you're probably like, who the heck is this guy Hector, and how the heck does he know Roswell? I mean, I get Roswell knowing. People like, oh yeah, we get how the Roswell knows a kidnap because they know each other for a long time. But in case of Hector, nothing much to explain about him at all. Nope, he just has the authority of Mescalina, which is one of the other witch factors, and well, he dresses in a very similar attire that the Witch of Greed. I thought when we first see the young Roswell, I thought this was Portrait Ghost by the distance wise. I thought it was him. No, it's actually Roswell. It definitely is. But that's probably because I saw him a lot last few episodes. Yes, and I still think Hepicor will be called back by Crunchyroll to reprise the character because he does appear for about. I think he makes appearances about 4 episodes. Yeah, I'd say at least 4. One was a flashback to the previous season. The other one was basically him in the flashback because I knew he was in book 14. Like, I knew that. But it's interesting to know he delved more into this flashback. This is quite interesting. I hope to explore this in next week's episode before I get to book 15. Book 15, in case you're curious though, that gets released now. Originally, from what I saw from I saw release date wise, that was supposed to release next week. But for some reason, delayed it by a week. I'm not really sure why. But I'm hoping, though, that they get to. That the book gets released before the adaptation basically begins here. Well, gets released for the anime. I hope so. Yep. So, yeah. That's it for Singular Review. And that's probably going to be it for videos today. Because I would do another review for Review 7 Deadly Sins. But it's almost 10:30, and well, I think I'm really in work for tomorrow, so this will probably be my only video today. I was thinking of doing a video, but once again, I ran out of time. Well, probably because I went to church tonight. That's the reason why. Tomorrow won't much problem. Oh no, probably much of a problem. Tomorrow, I'm presumably because the thing is, well, I did check for anime dub releases. Fire Force is releasing new episodes this week, so good job for Fire Force. I know you shouldn't have differences coming Friday, so I think in the case of tomorrow, I'm presumably having about 3 to 4 videos coming tomorrow. What I'm going to do tomorrow. This is probably my only one because of time-wise, okay? Do the next video. Bye.